and share the content. Okay, if you have any question, please don't hesitate to just interrupt me. Okay, if you have any questions, please just interrupt me. So wait. Okay, just a moment. I wanna open my slide. Okay. So can you look at the screen? Can you see the? I mean the.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the topic for today is magnet. Yeah. So actually, it's sometimes you see the funny sentence like motivating sentence. Yeah. So this in this case, magnets bring happiness. Uh, actually, what's bring happiness? Magnets maybe because you see that magnet always come in pairs. Yeah. We have the north pole, we have the south poles, and they are always interconnected. Yeah. See the magnetic field comes from the north and will go to the south pole. So it's like in human relationship, yeah, when we are together, usually it will increase our happiness. So maybe this is what the slide will tell you. Yeah. So we can skip this. Yeah, actually, what we study is not so different than what you already have in high school, but maybe we would like to deepen in the concept. Yeah, so magnetism is kind of electromagnetic phenomena where the charge are moving. When the charge are static, we only have electrostatic phenomena. Yeah, and so when you study magnet, we'll study the magnetic force, also the magnetic interaction, magnetic induction, and their application in daily life, and also to find out the connection between the daily phenomena, yeah, and social science, yeah, maybe social phenomena that can be attributed to magnetism. So what's interesting of magnetism, I think, is from my personal point of view, you can generate energy from motion. Yeah. So if you see windmill, yeah, or for example, water turbine, yeah, hydro turbine, you can generate electricity. You can generate energy from motion, and this is the one of the key application in magnetism. Yeah. So if you know about dynamo or how you can generate light from your bike by just swinging on the pedals, yeah, this is one of the conversion from motion to energy. And also you can reverse the process from energy, you can create motion. And this is, I think, very exciting because it can be one of the future source of energy, yeah, which is more environmental friendly. So from the history, magnetism comes from the Greek word magnetis, lithos, which means the magnesian rock, yeah. So this happens to be a place where you first find magnetism very long time ago, yeah. And this is now in the west side of Turkey, uh, near the city of Izmir. Yeah, so you can imagine when we find this phenomena first in, like say, Bogor. Yeah, so maybe it's electricity and Bogorism. Yeah, but this is found in Magnesia, so it's electricity and magnetism. And one of the first application of magnetism actually is recorded in China, where magnetism in the form of compass, compass was first invented, I think, in the time of the ancient Chinese imperium. Yeah, so when they try to navigate through the sea, sometimes they use compass to navigate the ship. So it's very interesting how people already use magnetism for a long time ago. And when they first found magnetism, they found that there are two poles. Yeah, always two poles. We call it the north pole and the south poles. Yeah, actually, our Earth alone. Yeah, so our Earth is a giant magnet. We have the north pole and the south pole, and you see that it's actually reversed. Yeah, we have this is the Earth, and what we call the north pole. Yeah, is actually the south pole because our compass, yeah, our compass north is pointing to the South Pole. So actually, the North Pole of the Earth is actually the South Pole, and the South Pole of the Earth is actually the North Pole, because the South Pole of the Earth will be attracted to the South Pole of the magnet. So we call the geographic North Pole is actually the South Pole of the Earth. Yeah? And one of the other interesting aspects concerning our Earth is that there are also a Van Allen belt. Yeah, Van Allen belt. Van Allen belt is the belt that is protecting us. Yeah, because we have a giant magnet here, north and south. Yeah, is protecting us from the radiation of the sun. Yeah, and other cosmic radiation. We have a magnetic shield that protects our Earth from dangerous radiation. And you see that the magnetic belt of the Earth is centering in the North Pole and the South Pole. So when there are some other particles on the Earth, like gamma rays and so on, you see that in the North Pole or South Pole, sometimes they are called, we have a very interesting phenomena, which we can, maybe you already heard of this uh, phenomena called aurora borealis. Aurora is actually from the Greek word aurora, is means the protector or guardian. Yeah. So borealis means the guardian of the North Pole or South Pole. Yeah. So aurora borealis is a phenomena where the magnetic field of the Earth is producing this wonderful phenomena, like colorful in the sky. And you see this phenomena is also depicted in the famous Disney film Lion King. Yeah. And when you have the opportunity to go to the North or South Pole someday, maybe we don't know, you can watch this directly. I think it would be a very interesting experience to be able to see this aurora borealis. Yeah, must be very wonderful. I myself have never been there, but um, who doesn't want to be there? Yeah, so this is the interesting phenomenon. Okay, so let's go back to our slides. A moment. Yeah. So the opposite poles always attract and the same pole always reject or repel. Yeah, this is the experimental evidence, and you can draw the force lines or the field lines with the convention that it will go out from the North Pole and enter the South Pole. So if you have this is the same like static electricity, but this
Sir,
is for, yeah.
sorry, for interrupt you. I want to ask. Actually, we already learned about this material, I think. So I think we should learn about the gelombang electromagnetic, right?
This material, last time I think we studied about the dynamic electricity, right? Is it true that we should? I think you mean the next material should be electromagnetic wave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see in the course. Yeah. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Because the topic for today, okay, because the topic for today, when you look at this Physica Humaniora at the screen, uh, let there be light. And the next one when you see here is magnetism. And after that is the electromagnetic field. So I think today is the magnetism.
But
Uh-huh.
but we already do the assignment. I mean the tugas
Ah,
nanti.
you mean that actually today we should study about the electromagnetic field?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, but I haven't teach you magnetism, right?
Yes.
Yes, because last week we got magnet, but we don't really know what to do.
So you mean that actually magnetism is last week lecture?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. So okay, let's make. So how about if we study magnetism for like 10 minutes and then we go to electromagnetism for 20 or 25 minutes? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So
Thanks,
okay.
sir.
Yeah. So okay. So no problem. Thank you for your information. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So we will continue. Yeah. So magnet always repel and attract. So actually, if you already study this, is good for me. So this is an example of electrons. When we have electrons, we have to use the left hand. Yeah. And magnetism, there are diamagnetism, paramagnetism, and you can read this by yourself. Yeah. So diamagnetism is phenomena where the magnetism is caused by the spin. Yeah. And when we have external magnetic field, the spin domain can change into the same direction, and it will become magnetized. Yeah. You can read this by yourself. So paramagnetism is a phenomena where the difference between paramagnetism and diamagnetism is by the paramagnetism is following the direction, yeah, in the same direction. So actually this paramagnetic field have the same spin altogether, but in diamagnetism they will um, uh, fight, they will be contrary to the external. So diamagnetism is anti-magnetism actually, yeah. Paramagnetism is agree to magnetism, so they will follow the same spin like the external. The spin will follow the external magnetic field. Yeah, a magnetic material is very dependent on the spin, the electronic spin. So if they have the same spin, we call this a magnetic domain. For normal materials, they are randomly oriented. Yeah, the domains are randomly. But when you give external magnetic field, the random domain will follow to the same direction. So it can become magnetized by giving external magnetic field. For example, you put metal in the solenoid, and it will become magnetized. Yeah. So this is our state of that experiment. He found that the magnet is the direction of the magnet follows the right hand rule. You have the current as the thumb, and the four fingers are the direction of the magnetic lines. Yeah. So the formula to determine the magnetic field is this: mu null I per 2 Pa. And you have to remember that when A is 0, there is no magnetic field. So in the wire itself, there is no magnetic field, but outside the wire, there is magnetic field. And the Lorentz force. The Lorentz force is given by this formula. And when you can see this formula, this formula, it depends on the current, the length, and the magnetic field. So actually, you can use this right-hand rule. Yeah. Just like in the picture, E here is the current, forehand is B, and my finger there here is the force. Yeah. And you have to know that B is always external magnetic field. It's not the magnetic field produced by the wire, but the magnetic field outside the wire. So B here is actually the external magnetic field. Yeah. So this is the formula. You know cross. Yeah, cross is uh, the vector product. So it involves V and B. So if you have the V and you have B, yeah, this is the vector. Yeah, this is the vector. So in this case, you have attractive if they have the same direction. How to calculate? Yeah. So if you want to calculate the force on the wire 1, you have to use force on the wire 1. You have to use B from the wire 2. So when you have this wire 2, the direction of B, you have to follow this line. the direction of B is outside. Yeah. Okay. So in this case, yeah, in this case you have the force is directed to the right. When you want to calculate the force on wire 2, you have to use the B from wire 1. Yeah. So this is the opposite. The force from wire 2, you have to see the circle from wire 1. Yeah. And this is how you determine whether they are attractive or whether they're repulsive. When the wire is opposite like this, you will find that they are repulsive. Yeah. So magnetic flux is given by B times A. Here the A factor is the vector of the surface. The direction of the A factor is always following the normal, to A. Yeah. So the maximum flux is when B and A, yeah, and normal A is parallel. When they are parallel, then you have maximum flux. Remember that the vector of A is always normal to the surface. Yeah. Okay, so you can see this is Faraday's law, and very interesting law because it can give you relation between electromotive force or GGL with the flux. So actually this is the amount of rate of the flux. It means that the amount of the flux rate per unit time, yeah, you have to have flux change. It's not enough only have to have your flux here, but also you have the changing flux in time. So the flux must change constantly. Yeah, this you can achieve by instrument called dynamo, for example, or generator. Yeah, so in generator, usually the motion, yeah, creates changing flux. How do you obtain changing flux? Is when you change the surface. Yeah, you can have motion and then the surface will change. And when you change the surface, it will produce a flux per unit time because of the change of the surface. Yeah, the surface will roll, and by rolling the surface, the amount of flux will change because you can rewrite flux is equal to B A, and the flux per dt you can write as like B dA per dt. Yeah, dA per dt. So when you have changing surface, for example, the surface you change by rotation, yeah, you will change the surface and this will cause a change in the flux. This is the principle of dynamo. Now, what is the Lenz law? The Lenz law says that when you try to change the flux, the system or the solenoid will always produce a magnetic field opposite to the change. For example, when you produce a magnetic field, yeah, for example, this is the solenoid. Yeah, first there is no external magnetic field, B is equal to 0, and then you put a magnet here, and the result is you will have a B inside. We call this B induction. The B induction is produced by the solenoid. The B induction direction is always opposite to the external B. Yeah, B external is inside and B induction is outside. So it will create resistance to the external field. For example, the external field come in, B induction is out. External field comes out, B induction is out. So the B induction always try to resist, yeah, try to fight the incoming B. We call this magnetic inertia. It will not change. It will try to resist, yeah, the change in the magnetic flux. So this is actually the Lenz law. And the change in this magnetic flux, we call this B induction. The B induction will generate, according to Lenz law, will generate electromagnetic force or GGL. That is why the GGL or electromagnetic force is always negative. Yeah, Negative is means it will resist, ya. This negative sign means resist. Resist itu melawan, ya. The external or the generated field from the outside. There are many applications of Lorentz law, which you can see here. For example, to detect the different masses will apply a different path atau lintasan yang berbeda because the path depends on the mass. The mass of the atomic mass. Yeah. So, for example, you have this formula: K E is equal to K VB. Yeah. So you have actually there is no acceleration, so F is equal to 0. There are two forces, the magnetic forces, yeah, and the electric field. So electric field is Ke and magnetic field is K VB. So K will cancel, yeah, and V is equal to the electric field divided by the magnetic. And you have this R is equal to mV per TB. What is how do you obtain this formula? You can obtain this formula from the centripetal law, yeah. You can obtain this from the centripetal law. I will not I will let you do this calculation by yourself. So you can use F sama is equal to I forget the maybe mv quadrat per something like this, yeah, or maybe mv per I don't know. Just look at the book and maybe you can find this. So there are many applications. For example, here you see by changing what you change the direction of the wire, yeah, you rotate the wire, it will produce a different flux because change in the surface, change in the effector, yeah. So you can have many applications here for water heating and so on. Okay. So thank you for your attention. Any question? Maybe just one question. If there is no question, how if we move to the next slide? Okay.
There is no questions from me, sir.
Okay, then let's go to the next slide. So the next slide is about electromagnetism. Yeah. Electromagnetism is a phenomena when you have a charge that is moving back and forth like oscillating charge. Yeah. And oscillating charge will generate an electromagnetic field which consists of the electric field and consists also of the magnetic field. These two fields cannot be separated. They will stay together. Yeah. So one of the important application is radio communication and also wireless communication Wi-Fi. Okay. Actually, there is a funny story about this. Yeah. There are, for example, you already heard the story about American, British, and Indonesian scientists in the future. Let's say 2,000 years from now, and they try to find out about the heritage of their nation. Yeah. So one day, the American scientists, the English scientists, say to the American and Indonesian scientists, yeah. The American scientists say to the Indonesian and the British scientists, he boasts that my country is the most advanced country in the world. And the British scientists say, wait, let's dig in London first and see what's inside. Yeah. So when they dig in London, yeah, very like 10 meters, they found a wire. And the British scientist is very excited. They say, wow, look at this. 1,000 years ago, my country already have wire electronic communication, yeah, electronic communication with the cable. And then the American scientists say don't be too happy because let's go to Washington. Let's go to Washington and look at the soil there, and they dig in Washington and they found a fiber optic cable. So he boasts to the other scientists like, hey, look, see, my country 1,000 years ago already have fiber optic communication, terahertz transmission data, very, very advanced technology. And then the Indonesian scientists, maybe he feel ashamed, yeah, say, hey, don't laugh, yeah, let's go to Jakarta and let's dig, yeah, and see what happens, yeah. Okay, and they follow them to Jakarta, and after eating nasi goreng, so why nasi goreng? Because I don't know why. Maybe President Obama like nasi goreng. And then when they went to Jakarta, the Indonesian scientist dig. After 10 meters, he found nothing. And he dig again on 20 meters, he find nothing. And he dig again and the 50 meters, you can imagine 50 meters. It's crazy digging. Yeah? And he suddenly he screamed from desperation. Yeah? And the two scientists, American and British scientists, they wonder, why are you so excited? What do you find? And say, look, I dig 10 meters, found nothing. 20 meters, found nothing. 50 meters, I found nothing. And so they think, why are you so happy? Why are you so happy? You found nothing. I say, you don't know that 1,000 years ago, Indonesia has the most advanced technology. Why? They don't use cable telecommunication anymore. They don't use fiber optic telecommunication now. But you see, we already use wireless technology, so we found nothing. Okay. Okay, so this is the joke actually. Yeah. So already 1,000 years ago, Indonesia is most advanced country because they don't need cable, they don't need Wi. We have a wireless technology. We found nothing. Yeah. Okay. So at the end, the Indonesian scientists win, always win. Yeah. Okay. I hope you get the joke.
Yes.
Okay. So with Indonesian scientists, they don't find anything. Yeah. Okay. So this is joke because this is just fictional story. Yeah. So there are actually a lot of things to learn here. So what is this? Wait, Oersted law. This is a little bit funny because this is about magnetism, yeah. So what is important here? Okay, maybe what is important here is that a magnetism is caused by moving charges. Yeah, electric force is created by static charges. Yeah, but when a charge is moving, there are actually two phenomena. They have magnetic field and also electric field because when they are moving, they still have this electric field. So the Oersted experiment says that when you have a moving charge like charge in the wire, you will always produce two fields, magnetic and electric field. And what happens if the charge is oscillating? This is interesting because then Maxwell found it will produce a electromagnetic field. Yeah. So you see here, yeah, James Clerk Maxwell, very established scientist, is a mathematician. Faraday is a good experimenter, but Faraday is not so a good theoretician. So he cannot put his experiment in mathematical form. Maxwell, on the other hand, was a mathematical prodigy since he was a child. And he summarized all the electromagnetic formula into 4 formulas. Yeah, you can read by yourself. The first one is statement of magnetic field produced by the net charge, and the second is that there is no magnetic monopole. Magnetism field always come from north to the south. Yeah, and the change in flux of the magnetic flux, yeah, will produce electricity. This is Faraday law, and the change in the magnetic change in the electric field will produce magnetism. This is symmetry, yeah, called the Ampere law, yeah. So this is Maxwell. He predicted that there is a symmetry between magnetic field and electric field, yeah. So the changing in electric field and magnetic field is always perpendicular. They cannot be separated, yeah, because they are generated from a moving charge. You cannot separate the electric and magnetic field. What you can do is you can separate the polarization, yeah. Polarization is like the direction of the electric field and the direction of the magnetic field. This you can change or filter by using a polarizer. But you cannot separate the electric and magnetic field, yeah. You can see here how the field is created. They are always opposite to the they are always orthogonal or perpendicular to each other, yeah. The direction, say vector of k is equal to E cross V. Yeah, is equal E cross B. Yeah. So for example, if this is E, this is B. So if you fold, melipat ya, fold your four fingers, the four fingers the direction of E, and then you fold in the direction of B. Your mother thumb, ibu jari Anda, will give the direction of the propagation atau direction of the propagation of the field. So E cross B equals K. Yeah. This is maybe okay. Actually, according to the picture, this should be E. This should be B. Ya, kebalik saya. Ya. So E itu yang bawah, B itu yang atas. So ya, if you lipat E ke B, ibu jari akan mengarah ke K. So kalau K-nya itu arahnya itu ke ya, the direction of K is in the right. So E and B must be overchange ya, bertukar itu. Ya. Okay. Or maybe okay, I know. Then here means the direction is ke bawah ya arahnya. So this is E, this is B. Lipat I ke B, maka ibu jari akan mengarah ke K. Ya, the direction of propagation. The electric field does not need medium. It is a transversal wave. Yeah. It has no charge. Yeah. So it is neutral, and it can have diffraction, reflection, interference, and so on. Yeah, it follows actually. This is very simple law for a flat surface. Incoming angle is equal to outgoing angle. Why is this so? Because of symmetry, yeah? Or you can use Huygens principle. Huygens principle states that secondary wave is equal to primary wave. So when you have, for example, here I can draw. Yeah, this is light incoming. Actually, at many points, light is incoming. It will create a source, yeah, a Huygens source, yeah. Like this will create a source. First come here, after this here, and smaller here. It will produce another source ya, kayak muka gelombang baru. It will spread, menyebar. Nah, constructive interference itu interferensi konstruktif. Constructive interference will occur at this green angle. So, why is the incoming equal the outgoing angle? Can be explained as constructive interference in the direction of this, yeah. And in the other direction is destructive interference. They will cancel other in all the direction except only in this direction where the incoming is equal to the outgoing, yeah. So this is phenomena of Huygens principle. You can read again about Huygens principle. Refraction atau pembiasan can also be explained by Huygens principle. Use this Snell law is actually discovered 400 years ago by Ibnu Sahal in Baghdad, or I don't know, maybe in the Islamic Golden Age. Yeah, Ibnu Sahal already find this law, and after this rediscovered by Wildebrandt Snell in England, in Netherlands. Yeah, so this I think you already know about the law. Yeah. This also can be explained by Huygens principle. Refraction occurs because the speed or the velocity of the light in the water is c divided by n, and n is usually larger than 1. 1 is for the vacuum or air. Yeah. So the speed or velocity of the light in the dense material is always smaller than in the non-dense materials. Yeah. So, and it can also produce a dispersion. Why? Because the index is dependent on the wavelength. So for different wavelength, for example, white light has many different wavelengths. So it means that different wavelength is inside the white light. So why is n dependent on the wavelength? Yeah. Because the wavelength, yeah, is directly related to the dipole, yeah. So what is a dipole? When you have light and you have electrons in the material, the electron will oscillate. Yeah, the electron will oscillate, and because of this oscillation, it will produce, we call this dipole radiation. Dipole radiation. It will produce electromagnetic field, yeah, or light above and below. Yeah. So this dipole radiation depends on the frequency, because different frequency have different dipole radiation. Yeah. So the frequency is directly connected to the wavelength via C is equal to lambda kali F times F. In the material is V lambda times F. Okay. So for different lambda, different velocity. Different velocity means that the index is equal to C per V. So different velocity, they have different index, and because of different index, you know, from the Snell law or Ibn Sahal Snell law, different refractive index is different angle of refraction. Yeah. So the key is the angle of refraction is dependent on the wavelength. Yeah. The refractive index is depend on the wavelength. So it will produce the rainbow phenomena, first discovered by Isaac Newton. So you can see here the difference of the index refraction. Yeah. So this phenomena of rainbow is caused by the dispersion of light. The blue color of atmosphere is this result of the scattering, yeah, hamburan. Elastic scattering, we call Rayleigh scattering. Different atmosphere produce different scattering. So Mars atmosphere is red because they have methane. Methane is red. The moon has no atmosphere, so it has no color. Yeah. Our Earth has blue color because we have nitrogen, oxygen in the sky. They will scatter the blue one. But rainbow is effect of the dispersion because the water droplet in the sky. So you see rainbow, usually the sun. Yeah. They can interfere constructive and destructive. They have amplitude, wavelength. So just like when you study about motion, oscillation. Yeah. So what is Young experiment? When you put light into a small hole, it will produce diffraction, and diffraction can be calculated like in this formula. The difference in the path is equal to n lambda, means when the difference of the path is equal to n lambda, the interference is constructive. When the difference is lambda half, it will interference destructive, will produce a dark spot. Constructive interference will produce a bright spot. And you can see from this how to calculate the dark and bright spot. What you can find usually is the wavelength. From this experiment, you can guess the wavelength of your light. Yeah. So it can be used to detect the wavelength of your light. So and interesting, the bubble, when you see like children playing with these oily bubbles, is produced by interference. Actually, the bubble is not really very thin, yeah, but it has a layer like this. So when the light is coming, when the light from the sun is coming, it will produce a Newton ring or interference here, ya, pemantulan. This back or rod for reflection will cause interference. This is the bubble, and the outer and lower layer here will produce interference, constructing and producing this nice color. Yeah. So you can calculate this. I will not teach you because I already have in high school. And it can be polarized. Yeah. And this polarized can produce like a Brewster angle. What is Brewster angle? You come with an unpolarized light. Unpolarized light means the light unpolarized. Yeah, unpolarized light means the light can have like this direction, any direction, like this is direction of the electric field, itu acak ya. It can be random because it comes from the sun. And suddenly when you have a surface with N2, you can have a transmission atau pemantulan. Here the reflection is polarized. Jadi di sini yang tadinya campur, mix, only produce one. Yeah, this is called the Brewster angle. please read more about the Brewster angel in your book. This is from the Fresnel law, yeah, Fresnel law. You read about Brewster and read about Fresnel. What is the application of Brewster angel is that you can produce polarized light by choosing the correct angle, and the correct angle is when this angle here is 90 degree, yeah, this one is 90 degree. You press Brewster angle, yeah. Yeah, this is a phenomena called like scattering, yeah. This is the formula for the electromagnetic field. You know that the speed is always in vacuum 3 to the power 10 to the power of 8. Yeah, 3 times 10 to the power of 8. And there are many application in daily life. I think you can read this slide by yourself. Yeah. So the gamma ray is the most dangerous ray. And they have this in the atmosphere and also in cancer therapy. X-ray is kilovolt here. Yeah. Application of X-ray is for detecting bone fracture, also detecting any damage in the bones, yeah. So, and also for the ultraviolet we can detect for example fake money, or bacterial cancellation like COVID we can kill by ultraviolet light. Also to detect many interesting coloration from the internal parts of our body, they will glow if you give ultraviolet light, yeah. And also other lights, for example visible light you can use for LED, for television, attraction, laser, and so on, yeah. Infrared is for detecting thermal energy, usually used for detecting your body temperature. But be careful, I don't recommend that you put infrared in the eye, yeah. Maybe for some animals it's okay, but maybe for our safety, it's better to don't look at the light directly. Maybe in the head is okay, no problem. Don't look directly because the retina of our eye is very sensitive to light. Microwave you can use, for example, for cooking and so on. Okay. So for the radio telecommunication like handphones, you can use microwave. It's not so dangerous. I think microwave is you can use your phone as long as you like. I don't see any side effects. Maybe what cause dizziness is because you put the phone very near to your ear, so it will cause a little bit heat. But so far, I don't see any side effects. Right? So Wi-Fi is a radio telecommunication we use also for radio communications, like in the ionosphere, they will block the light back to the earth and it can cause for radio telecommunication. Also fiber optic technologies, because of the total internal reflection, you go from the dense material to the less dense material and can cause internal reflection total. So for the fiber optic to work, you have to have more dense, yeah, more dense material with higher refractive index than the outer layer. Okay, okay, this is it. The lecture for today is complete. Any questions, maybe, please? So today I cannot have lecture more than 1 hour because I have to go to the bank. Yeah, so maybe you can have any questions. Yeah. So what we can see is actually just a tiny fraction of our real nature of electromagnetic spectrum, which is very wide, and we apply all of the spectrum for the benefit of humankind. Yeah. Any question, maybe? Okay. Sorry if I'm too fast because you can have my recording later. I record my lecture, so please, if you have any question, you can also use WhatsApp to ask me, and I will respond in the group. Okay. So if there is no question, thank you for your cooperation. See you next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oke,